What is up, guys? I'm going to do a DB commentary for the Six Samurai deck. I want to show you guys what the deck is all about in action for the DB perspective because you can see both players' hands. So I think I go first or no, I go second for this matchup. He opens up a dust shoot and he sets it obviously, and he also sets it bottomless to pretty much back that up. So he looks at my hand here, so he knows exactly what is going on. So he probably chooses the Iroh here because Iroh can deal with face down monsters such as his Raiko. So he's probably going to fear that, and he does choose it. So now I'm probably going to do is activate the gateway here and normal summon the Hand of the Six Samurai so that I could put 2 counters on the gateway. So that the next time I do summon a Six Samurai, then I'll be able to search one off the deck. He activates Bottomless in response to the Hand of the Six Samurai. A little weird that he decided to Bottomless here because he does have outs to the Hand of the Six Samurai in his hand, such as Greffer and Vayu. But probably he doesn't think that. I mean, he knows my hand, so he should know that I have Phoenix Chain in my hand. So it makes sense that he would Bottomless here. So I set 2 more because I do have the Starlit Road to ensure the Heavy Storm. He draws into another Vayu here. I was predicting that he might summon a Greffer here and discarding a Vayu. But he doesn't do that move. So I guess because he saw the DD Warrior Lady in my hand, as well as the Phoenix Chain, he likes to go for the Vayu play here. And then swinging in for 800. Setting 2 back rows, he's going to pass here, and I'm going to be drawing the Hand of the Six Samurai, which is a good top deck for me. I summon the Hand of the Six Samurai, so if he does have another Bottomless, he's going to be able to use it, or I can search for the Grandmaster. But he does Torrential here, which is surprising to me. The Torrential here is a 1-for-1, I guess, because the Vayu does float in the graveyard, but he does need a Sirocco to turn that on as well, so... Because I play bottomless in my deck, it makes it so that the second Vayu doesn't gain any value. So even if he is able to bring out the put a Sirocco in the graveyard, the bottomless pretty much shuts off all the line here. So he does only have 1 Vayu in the graveyard, and so he's gonna summon the second Vayu here, still circumventing not playing the Greffer here. But if the question is, would I summon the Greffer, discard the Vayu, and get Phoenix Chain? Probably I would have let that go through, but I don't have a way I could deal with the arm wing with DD Warrior Lady. So I'm a little surprised he didn't decide to do this by pitching the Chaos Sorcerer or even the Vayu out of his hand. So I guess he really values the Greffer effect. I draw into the Honest here. I think I set the Honest here to wall off the attack. No, it looks like I go for the DD Warrior Lady. So to bait out the last back row, I attack over here on the Vayu because I don't feel very threatened by the Vayu Turbo player. As he's not putting a lot of pressure on per turn, so he's gonna deprison the DD Warrior Lady, and he's gonna pass, and I'm gonna pass turn here. He's gonna draw into a super nimble Mega Hamster. I think he's gonna set the super nimble and attack with the Vayu, if I'm correct. Let's see what he does here. Yeah, he does set the super nimble. I think what I draw next is a Six Samurai monster, if I remember. No, I don't. So I set the Honest here. Even if that's a face down Raiko, there's not much I could do to that. I could summon the Honest and attack the face down monster, or I could attack the Vayu, and then flip main phase 2, bounce back the Honest. But I'm contemplating whether I want to sacrifice for Grandmaster. It's a rare scenario where I want to sacrifice for Grandmaster, but it's definitely a play that you can do in this deck, and a lot of people don't know that. So I'm going to set another bottomless here. It doesn't look like he doesn't... well, I do have the Starlight Road to back up the bottomless here. So he pretty much has to bait out all my back row now. So he's probably going to flip the Hamster here to get the Raiko to set it after he declares an attack. Weird that he decides to attack here, considering that most of the Six Samurais have high defense except for Yaichi. I think Yaichi only has 400 defense. So he's going to be taking 1100 damage here, which is a lot. And he's going to be setting a Mirror Force. So, yeah. So now I can normal summon my Grandmaster by sacking for it. And I did draw another Grandmaster here, so it's going to be perfect for me to gain the 2 counters here. If he does decide to respond to the Grandmaster does have the ability to add a Six Samurai to my from my graveyard, including himself. And I do have the Hand of the Six in the graveyard, so if he does deal with this Grandmaster, I can add the Hand of the Six Samurai to my hand. And then the following turn, I can normal summon this Hand of the Six, special summon the Grandmaster, and then get a search off the gateway, which is really strong. So I'm going to go into the Grandmaster into the Vayu. Weirdly enough, he activates the Mirror Force to the Grandmaster, so I get a +1 here, even though it doesn't look like that way. So the Grandmaster is going to float into the Hand of the Six, so I was able to clear his Mirror Force. Mirror Force in Deep Prison is really bad against 6 Samurais because of Yaichi and Grandmaster. So I imagine he's gonna side this out going game 2 and 3. So his turn, the turn passes. He's gonna draw the reinforcements of the army. He's gonna summon the Armageddon Knight because this card doesn't waste any cards out of his hand. Now with the Sirocco in the graveyard, he can actually go into the Arm Wing, but he has to deal with my Bottomless Trap Hole, and he doesn't. So the thing about my deck list is that there's no Mirror Force in the deck, and so because there's no Mirror Force in the deck, I guess that's the reason why he doesn't banish for the Vayu and the Sirocco. So because I have the element of surprise on my side, he pretty much thinks that I have Mirror Force set. But now he knows for a fact that I don't have Mirror Force because he's chipping away at my life points. So I draw into the Solemn Judgment here, which is a really good top deck. And I'm going to normal summon the hand here and special summon the Grandmaster. Pretty much rinse and repeat. I'm going to deal with both the monsters here using using my battle phase. And then during the main phase 2, I'm going to use the Hand of the 6 to attribute itself to pop the face down. So because he didn't flip the hamster, it kind of tells me to believe that the face down is probably a Plague Spreader zombie. And so if it's a Plague Spreader zombie, I want him to top deck for it. So if he wants to make a synchro play. So either way, the face down monster is always going away. The only instance where the face down monster doesn't go away if it's a Sangan, but I know that Vayu Turbo doesn't play Sangan in their deck, so I feel pretty safe to search for the Spirit of the Six here. So what I do here is I go into the battle phase, like I said before, clear his monsters. So I'm getting my value here. So as you can see from this point of view, I'm up like I'm 8 cards to his 3. If you include the Vayu and the Sirocco, I guess he does have more resource. He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So he has 5 cards to my 8. So it's pretty bad for him because I have a +3 over him with 5 back row or 4 back rows, and they're all real traps. They have Solemn Judgment except for Starlight Road. I have Bottomless Trap Hole, so I basically have 3 real traps. And if he can't deal with my board, I'm definitely gonna normal summon the Spirit of the Six to generate more advantage. So lucky for him, he draws the Gores here, and so if I do a direct attack, he can actually punish me for that. So he activates the arm wing finally, the Vayu finally to bring his arm wing. Of course, I have the Bottomless Trap Hole here to deal with it. So now it shuts off his Vayu, so he can't really use his second Vayu to make an Armor Master. So that's pretty good for me. So now with the back row cleared up, what I'm going to do here is normal summon the Spirit of the Six here. And instead of going straight into the equipped, I'm going to go straight to battle phase to declare an attack with the Spirit of the Six. I'm going to search for the Iroh in the event that he does draw into a Raikou, which he has not been able to draw. And I'm going to attack for 521. And even if he does drop the Gores on the 21, the Spirit of the Six will amplify the attack of my Grandmaster to 26. So the Gores token is not going to do anything to my Grandmaster. Okay, so if he does declare an attack with the Gores here on my Grandmaster, I have 2 options. I can save the Grandmaster by using the Spirit of the Six effect. It says whenever one of my monster would be destroyed while equipped, you can destroy this card instead. Or I can use the Phoenix Chain that I have set here to block the attack. So I have 2 options to pretty much to protect the Grandmaster here. He draws into a Royal Oppression. So Royal Oppression is kind of bad against 6 Samurais. Because if you Royal Oppression the Grandmaster, his effect still triggers to retrieve a 6 Samurai from my graveyard. So that's why I really think 6 Samurai has a lot of potential to be good in this meta because Royal Oppression doesn't do anything. So he's going to switch the Gores to attack position. I'm going to activate the Phoenix Chain here to stop the attack. This means that my Grandmaster can run over the token. And the cool thing about Spirit of the Six is it doesn't have to send a monster to the graveyard. It just has to destroy it by battle. Much like Full Helm Knight, I'll still be able to draw a card even if it was a Raikou. So I'm gonna take my turn now. So I draw into the Reckless Greed, and so I already have everything set up. So the Reckless Greed is actually a win more card at this point because I can deal with its Gores by summoning the Iroh, and I can boost up the Grandmaster to 3100 attack and then attack over the Gores. However, I'm trying to bait out the back rows, so I'm trying to make sure that I don't have to use the Solemn Judgment. So I summoned the Iroh here. If it is a Torrential Tribute, I do have the Starlight Road to protect the 2 monsters on the board here. But it's not a Torrential Tribute. So instead, what I do is what I should have done was pump up the Grandmaster and attack over the Gores. Instead, I choose to go for the low commitment play. I figure since the Phoenix Chain is going to lock the Gores from attacking in the next turn anyways. That's why I really like Phoenix Chain in 6 Samurais. I don't have to worry too much. So I draw into the spirit. I draw into Zanji here. Another good top deck because now that if I can summon another 6 samurai monster, I can basically summon it and then search. So what I do here is I unequip the Spirit of the Six here to get the counter. He's gonna activate the Royal Oppression here. So the Royal Oppression will clear the Spirit of the Six. However, bad news for him is that he can't special summon his Chaos Sorcerer. So it's always funny to play Chaos Sorcerer in a deck with Royal Oppression. But I guess it makes sense. So my Grandmaster now drops down to 2100. I'm not too worried about it because the Gore still can't attack my Grandmaster. So now he draws into the Plague Spreader zombie. The Plague Spreader is pretty much useless here because he can't really do much with it. If he does summon the Greffer here and pitch the Plague Spreader zombie, he could put the Sirocco in the graveyard. And so that pretty much means that I have to Fiendish Chain the Greffer here. So he does do that play here. He summons the Greffer, activates the effect to pitch the Plague or the Sorcerer. Yeah, I think he pitches this Plague here, yeah. So I Fiendish Chain. I look at his graveyard first to make sure that he doesn't have 3 darks in his graveyard. And even if he does, I do have the life points to Royal Oppression, the Dark Arm. So what I do instead is, since Vayu can circumvent the Royal Oppression, I activate the Fiendish Chain here to make sure that he doesn't get a Sirocco in the graveyard. Alright, so now there's 2 monsters that are equipped to the Fiendish Chain. So now all I have to do is clear his monster on my next turn. So the Fiendish Chain will all come off. So basically, if I destroy the monster by battle, then I can set the 2 Reckless Greed here to win the game even more. So Vayu Turbo, from the looks of it, isn't really doing much to 6 Samurais. Maybe because I opened up the gateway, but I also think it's because 6 Samurai Vayu Turbo doesn't have much plays when it gets bottomless. When it has to deal with bottomless and when it has to deal with DD Warrior Lady. So it's another aspect of the reason why I play those trap cards. So he scoops here. I think what I did for that turn was increase the stats of my 6 Samurai as opposed to searching for 6 Samurai monsters. So that I can run over both the Gores and the Greffer. So game 2 now starts. I do side into this card called Grave of the Super Ancient Organism. It basically means that all his arm wings can't attack me. And if his arm wings can't attack me, then I don't have to worry about my life points going down. So the only things I have to worry about is Raikou and Caius. But as I've told you guys before, Raikou and Caius is easily dealt with Iroh and Fiendish Chain. So I don't have to worry about too much. So he sets his Raikou, which is a pretty classic play. I don't have the Iroh in my hand, so I had to find a way to deal with it. I do draw into the DeFi here. So what I do here is I activate the DeFi and summon a Zanji. Or first I summon the Zanji, sorry. No, I should have. That's actually a mistake. I should have summoned the Zanji first and then activate the DeFi after. In the event that he does have like a battle trap, because if I summon the Zanji first and he knows he has a Raikou, then most likely if these cards were bottomlesses, he wouldn't activate it to the Zanji effect, to the Zanji summon. Then I should activate the DeFi after the summon, so that now he has to contemplate whether he wants to Solemn Judgment this in the event that he has it. And he does have the Solemn Judgment, so he doesn't activate it anyways. So he knows that his Raikou is going to resolve and just destroy my DeFi. So yeah, this is the reason why this is a good setup for this particular board here. Because when I attack into the Raikou, he's not going to clear my Zanji. He's going to choose to destroy the Dimensional Fissure, which means I have the board presence. But if he does mill the cards, then it's going to be pretty difficult. So, but lucky for me, I do have the Grave of the Super Ancient Organism. That if he does mill theoretically a Sirocco and a Vayu and get a free +1, then my Grave of the Super Ancient Organism is going to do something, which is good. So he does mill a Caius, Sirocco, and a Royal Oppression. Cards that don't really do anything at the moment for him, so it's good that he milled those cards. Except for Sirocco. Maybe Sirocco would have been a better card for him. So because he set 2 cards, I'm also going to set 2 cards to match him. Even if he Heavy Storms with the Pro set Heavy Storm, that means that it's only going to be a 2 for 2 for him anyway. So I set the 2 back rows. You need to do that. So he top decks into a Gale, and he's going to half my Zanji here. So unfortunately for me, he is able to run over the Zanji while walking underneath my my sets. So that's fine. I take the damage here, and then I go into draw phase. So I draw into the Heavy Storm here. I don't have Starlight Road set. I do contemplate activating Reckless Greed, but again, I forgot to mention in my deck profile that you don't want to activate Reckless Greed when you don't need to. I don't feel pressured in this position to activate the Reckless Greed. So it's always best to wait until you have either the Gateway or the United to plus off of the summons before you activate Reckless Greed. Another card you might need is like Grandmaster in your hand, and another Six Samurai. So I summon the Zanji here. He's probably gonna torrential, and which he does. I don't know why he does this. This is a 2-for-1, so it helps me get back in the game. But he does it anyways. Maybe he doesn't see value for the torrential in the future plays. So because I do have the Grandmaster in my deck, so I do have the Spirit of the Six Samurai. So all I need now is to draw a Grandmaster, and I'm able to do some stuff here. He draws into a Dust Tornado here, so that's really good because if I do have the Gateway, he can Dust Tornado it. He sets his Raikou here, and then he sets his Dust Tornado, and it's gonna pass here. So now I have to deal with the Raikou set potentially. I do draw into a Gateway, which is fortunate. So what I do here is I still pass because I don't think I want to pressure his board yet. If it is a set hamster, he's gonna flip it and get his Raikou, but I don't have to worry about losing my set card. So if the Raikou flips, he can target my Reckless, and I can chain it. Let's see what I do here. Looks like I go for the ballsy play here. I did have the Gateway after all, so I'm going to try to draw into another Samurai. So he's going to Solemn Judgment, which is good. So a Solemn Judgment was able to meet the Reckless Greed. So now if I have anything else, I could just deal with it. I do have the Grave of the Super Ancient Organism, but unfortunately for me, he has a Dust Tornado. So this is good for me because the Dust Tornado is now used, so my Gateway +1s are actually going to be useful. His Raikou is set still, so he could choose to flip Raikou just to mill, but I doubt that he's going to do that. So what he's going to do is probably going to activate Reinforcements of the Army and then dump the Vayu here with Armageddon Knight. Yeah, so he's going to summon the Arma, send the Sirocco, banish the Sirocco and the Vayu. Did he mess up? Yeah, he did. So now he's going to go to the Arm Wing. And now I don't think he's gonna attack with he doesn't fear the Gores here, so he's gonna attack with everything that he's got. Even if I do have Gores, he does have the Raikou to deal with the token or the Gores, most likely the Gores, so he has no worry. So I take a lot of damage here. I take about 3,700 damage, and he passes here. I finally draw into a Grandmaster, which is really good. So I have a really good position here. I can summon the Spirit of the Six. Oh, I can activate the Gateway here. Summon the Spirit of the Six, special on the Grandmaster. So really good positioning here. Now I'm able to get a search after I equipped. So I'm gonna search first for a Hand of the Six. Why do I get Hand of the Six here? I get Hand of the Six here because I can normal summon it and clear a Raikou. So I think that's why I do that. So I'm gonna equip the Spirit of the Six here, and I'm gonna use it to run over the Arm Wing. Yeah, because I don't want to make Colossal Fighter, and Colossal Fighter is kind of like the bane of this deck, kind of. Even though I do play the Hand of the Six Samurai, it's kind of bad because I do have Warriors in my deck. So I'm gonna get a +2 here by clearing his Arm Wing, and then triggering a draw effect. Okay, so I draw into Reckless Greed, which is a good top deck. Let's see here. If this was a defensive trap, I might be able to deal with his monster, but he does have the Raikou set anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So it's good that it was a Reckless Greed. So he's going to flip the Raikou here, pop the set. I'm going to chain the set to draw 2. And he's going to go into his Synchro plays because now he has the Plague Spreader Zombie. And he's going to go into Brionac, and he's going to use the effect to bounce my Grandmaster. And then he's going to top deck for Plague here, and then go into Armory Arm. So Armory Arm, being a high-statted level 4 monster, is going to take out 4,100 damage. So I lose this game, and we go into game 3. Even though, so if you guys look at it from an advantage perspective, I have 6 cards to his 2, and so the entire time Vayu Turbo is kind of like losing a lot of gas in order to OTK me or put a lot of damage on the board. So in terms of advantage, this deck is actually outpacing Vayu Turbo. So that's always nice to know. There's also no way he can actually bring out if he has another Vayu in the graveyard. He can actually have more advantage, but he doesn't have it. So then he skips here, or I skip here, and now we're gonna go into game 3. Hopefully, I'm able to draw into my Gateway with the Six Samurai, and I do. So now with this hand over here, I have a lot of gas. So 1 Gateway, like again, I have to stress this. Gateway at 3 in this format makes the deck. It should be a tier 1 deck because you're able to generate so much advantage off of the spell card itself. And not only generate advantage, the card can retrieve 6 Samurai from the graveyard so that you can recycle the 6 Samurai monsters that you've already used in the past. So I don't know why in this format 6 Samurai is not doing well. I honestly think people aren't innovating the deck enough. or not playing it enough. That could be it too. So he draws into an Armageddon Knight. He's most likely gonna summon it, but the summoning of Armageddon Knight doesn't do anything to my current board. So most likely what he's gonna do here is either set the Vayu, or activate reinforcement of the army, get a Greffer, discard the Vayu, and then get an arm wing. So I guess that's what he does here, and then he's gonna walk into my set card. My set card is a bottomless, so if he does make the arm wing here, I can bottomless the arm wing. So now all I have to deal with is the Greffer here. So unfortunately, Hand of the Six Samurai doesn't have that clause where they can protect themselves from destruction, because I would totally do it and kill the Grandmaster in the process, because I can special summon the Grandmaster and add tokens. So I let the attack goes through. I take 100, which is nothing. So he's already at like 5 cards to my 5, but I'm gonna draw for turn and get a +1 from using the Yaichi effect. Unlucky for me, I hit the chainable trap card that he had set, so he destroys my gateway in the process, but that's fine. That's still 1-for-1. And so if my Grandmaster is able to go through and attack over his Greffer, then I get a +1 there. He activates the Mirror Force here. So the Mirror Force ends up being a 1-for-1. The Mirror Force, just what it really did was destroyed my Yaichi because my Grandmaster floats. So now with my Grandmaster effect, I'm actually going to add the hand back to my hand because it is a bigger monster. So if you can see, I have 4 cards to his 4. He could use the effect of Greffer to pitch a dark, so that I would be in a really big trouble here if he does do that. He even draw the Sirocco too. So instead, what he does is he normal summons the Armageddon Knight, and he pitches the Necrogardna. And instead of using the effect of Greffer to pitch the Sirocco to dump the Vayu to make more plays, he fears the Mirror Force, but he doesn't know that I don't play Mirror Force, and because Mirror Force is never going to hit the graveyard, he always has to play around it until he knows for a fact that I don't have it, because either A, he logically deduces that I don't have it because he put a lot of pressure on the board, or B, he draws into an MST or Heavy Storm. But even if he draws MST and Heavy Storm, that I could theoretically draw into one the following turn. So not playing the Mirror Force feels correct here. So then he attacks me for 31 and I take it. I draw into the Deep Fisher, which is really good top deck. So now I can clear both his monsters. And even if the Greffer stays alive, if he pitches a card off the Greffer, it goes straight to the banish. So this Phoenix Chain is actually going to meet the Caius here, which is really good that I saved the Phoenix Chain for the Caius. So because what happens, like I told you guys in the deck profile before, if someone Phoenix Chains and they have to sacrifice a monster that doesn't get value, then Phoenix Chain trades with that monster, and it stops the Caius from attacking me. So that's a really good thing. I'm going to use the Hand of 6 Samurai to attack the Armageddon Knight here because I want to get it for a +2 here. He's going to use the Necrogardner to block the attack. And so if you guys look at this from this perspective, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to his 3. And he's going to go to 4 cards. So I'm already up at +1. In main phase 2, I'm actually going to use the Hand of the 6 Samurai to kill the Greffer here, so that I can save the Phoenix Chain for like other monsters. In the event that he tries to run over the Grandmaster somehow. Although I can't think of one. Maybe he could top deck Burial and put all these back, and the Phoenix Chain can stop the attack. I could see that being a thing. So that's why I choose to use the Hand of the 6 Samurai here. And I also do this effect because I don't want him to summon a Sirocco and then try to attack over my hand. And then I have to waste the Phoenix Chain on the Sirocco versus wasting it on versus using it on a Caius, which is better. All right, I draw into a Bottomless, which is a really good top deck. So if he tries to do anything, I can just Bottomless the next monster. I fear the Gores. I don't summon. I don't attack into the Gores using my Grandmaster. So what I use is I summon the DD Warrior Lady, attack directly, and if he does drop the Gores here, I don't really care because I can kill the token with the Gores, and then the DD Warrior Lady can clear the Gores the following turn. So I set down the back row here, not fearing the Heavy Storm at all. So he draws into a Burial, activates the Burial, which is a good top deck for him. Puts back the Necrogardna and the Arm Wing. But unfortunately for him, it's going to be met with the top deck Bottomless. So the Bottomless is going to be good here. So now he has to put more damage in. He hasn't normal summon yet, so he can normal summon the Sirocco here. But none of my monsters Siroccos can deal with. So if he attacks my DD Warrior Lady, I'm going to banish that Sirocco. So he can't get value out of this. So it's going to be a 1-for-1 here. I'm going to draw for turn, and I draw into a Solemn Judgment, another good top deck. So I still fear the Gores. I don't think I attack here. I just set the Solemn Judgment and I pass. He draws into a Raikou here, which is a good top deck for him. And now I have to figure out a way to deal with the Raikou. I draw into a Yaichi. I think I normal summon the Yaichi. No, I attack it. So because he doesn't have Gores, or because he didn't bluff Gores again, I attack with the Grandmaster so that if he destroys my Grandmaster, Grandmaster will still trigger his ability to add a 6 Samurai from my graveyard, even if my DeFi is currently active. So let's see what he does here. He activates Necro Gardener because he wants to protect his Raikou. Now he has a really good play where he can flip the Raikou to destroy either my DeFi or my set cards, and then sacrifice for Caius to banish DeFi, and then attack over my Grandmaster. That's his best play. So he's going to blind hit my Phoenix Chain. I'm going to chain the Phoenix Chain, targeting the Raikou. He's going to sacrifice for Caius, most likely. But lucky for me, I do have the Solemn Judgment to negate the summon, so he can't even do anything. So I'm in a good spot here. I do have the Yaichi, so I'm going to normal summon the Yaichi here. Use the Yaichi's effect to pop the back row, and now I win the game. So he got pretty triggered at me, but it's justified that he got triggered because I did draw a lot of good top decks back to back, but at the same time, I'm playing a deck that I feel like it's better than Vayu Turbo, honestly. Vayu Turbo probably has a really good matchup against a lot of different decks. That's why people play it. But against Vayu Turbo, this deck is insanely good. I can't stress that enough. So I draw to the Pulling the Rug, and that Pulling the Rug can deal with the Caius, but he's already used his Caius, so I no longer have to worry. The Yaichi is going to generate me a +1. So at the end of this turn, I have 5 cards to its 2, which is a pretty insane value if you guys think about it. I'm going to go on to a next video using against Frog Heroes. So that's all I'll probably do for the whole video. All right, last gameplay video against the Frog Heroes. So he's going to go first because he won the die roll. He's going to set the Dupe Frog here, and hopefully to get a search off the Dupe Frog. Weirdly enough, he doesn't summon the Swap Frog to dump the Treeborn Frog. Maybe he doesn't want to give away what he's playing, but I always feel like that's incorrect. So he should definitely summon the Swap Frog here to dump the Treeborn Frog. I'm going to set a Dust Shoot here because I didn't draw any of the 6 Samurai monsters. The Reckless Greed is actually justified to flip on my following turn, so I think I set the Reckless Greed here as well. Oh, I set 3. Okay. So I set 3 here. He draws into Dust Shoot, which is a really good top deck for him because now if I do draw into another monster, then he can just Dust Shoot away my Grandmaster. So I'm going to Dust Shoot him, but he's going to Dust Shoot me back. So now I know he's on frogs. Most likely he's going to summon the Swap Frog here, and he's going to dump the Treeborn Frog. He's going to declare an attack for 1,000. I'm going to take 1,000 here, and he's going to set his Dust Shoot, knowing that he's going to see my hand, unfortunately, and then he's going to take away my Grandmaster. So I don't know if I should flip the Dust Shoot here. I don't feel any pressure. Looking at his hand, he has a pretty slow start. So I think what I do is I just pass without doing anything. Yeah, and that's what I do. I don't feel pressured. He's on the enemy controller build, so not bad, but I don't have anything he can steal. So he's going to normal summon the Swap Frog again, and then chip in for another 1,000 damage, and so I take it. So again, I don't feel pressured looking at his hand from the Dust Shoot, so I just pass here. And luckily I draw into the Zanji. So this is pretty much huge gas. So what I'm going to do here is activate all of my continuous spell cards. Normal summon the Zanji here. And even though he Dust Shooted me and I Dust Shooted him, I'm already at a huge advantage over him. So I'm going to search twice because Gateway was able to trigger twice. Because Grandmaster special summons itself, and then I use its effect to search for the hand. I search for the hand here in the event that he's able to draw into Substitute, and so he can technically do his soft dupe lock. But in hindsight, I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have searched for the hand because if he does his suit, well, actually, I don't know what the set his card is. So if it's a Dupe Frog, then I shouldn't have searched for the hand. But if it isn't a Dupe Frog, then the Hand of the 6 Samurai is not a good search. So I don't know whether I should search after I attack or I should... yeah, now that I look at this replay again, maybe I should have attacked first and then see what I should have searched afterwards. Because the other option is to search for a Spirit of the Six, which allows me to plus. So I'm gonna use the 6 Samurai United here to draw 2 cards. So I'm getting my value right away, and I draw into an Upstart Goblin, and now I even draw into a Starlight Road. A good top deck for me because now if he does draw into a Heavy Storm, I can protect my gateways from being destroyed. Activate double gateway, giving him literally 2,000 more life points, And now I'm going to attack with the Zanji first because whatever Zanji battles, it gets destroyed at the end of the damage step. So he's going to trigger his Dupe Frog effect, and he's going to search for a Unifrog. I'm not too afraid of Unifrog here. I could attack directly for 2100, but lucky for me, he takes the damage first without me declaring an attack. I only dust sheeted him 2 turns ago, so he could have theoretically drawn a Gores, but he takes the damage for me, so I don't have to declare an attack. And that pretty much signifies I don't have to worry about Gores for the whole match. So just a little less for you guys. Don't take the damage before the person declares an attack. So I set the Starlight Road here, and he passes. He draws into a Kai's here, so he can actually do a Kai's play. I don't believe I have a Phoenix Chain set, so the Kai's is going to be able to resolve. And so whatever he banishes, it really didn't matter because if you guys look at the card advantage, I have, 9 cards to his 7 cards. So I'm already at a +2. If you count the Treeborn Frog, I guess he's at 8. So I guess that's an okay board. So he's going to Econ here, take my Grandmaster, and I'm going to let him take it. And then he's going to declare an attack on my Zanji before distributing my Grandmaster away for the Kais that he's just drawn. So I take the 300 here, and if he sacrifices for Kais, banishes the Gateway, I chain the Bottomless. And so now that Kai's enemy controller play actually put a lot of advantage for him. He's now at 6 cards to my 5, but I'm going to draw for turn. And if I draw a Grandmaster, then I can get another resolution of the Gateway. I draw into the Hand of the 6 here. I think I summoned Hand of the 6, if I remember correctly. No, I just summoned Zanji. So the Zanji's going to be able to clear the Treeborn Frog because he now has a back row. And now he has to waste his back row on one of my monsters or one of my cards if he wants to special summon the Treeborn Frog again. And he lets it go through. I would have probably activated the Red Break to destroy something because the Zanji, I actually don't know. So his turn, he draws the Prodigy here. So it looks like he's on some sort of Prodigy line, so he can just do his moves. But he does have the way to activate Miracle Fusion. So now that he has Miracle Fusion live, he can destroy one of my cards. I think he's choosing my Gateway here. Yeah, so he destroys the Gateway here, which is good. So the Gateway was able to generate tons of advantage because it was able to add cards from my deck to my hand. And then he had to go 2 for 1 by discarding the Regeki Break and the Prodigy to destroy my Gateway. So now he gets his Treeborn Frog back. He summons the Unifrog, and he's going to attack directly here. So I do have the option of flipping the Reckless Greed here, but I lost my Gateway. So activating the Reckless Greed is actually wrong. So I'm going to let him try to destroy it. But thankfully, enough for me, he was able to destroy the other card instead of the Reckless Greed here with the Unifrog. So the Starlight Road gets lost here. I'm going to draw for turn here. I draw into MST. So this is a good top deck because if he draws into another trap card, which I imagine a lot of people are net decking 10FD's list, the MST is actually going to do something. So I'm going to break the Reckless Greed here because I have nothing to lose. So I draw 2 here. Luckily for me, I draw a Spirit of the 6. So this means I can get a lot of advantage here. So I'm going to summon the Spirit of the 6 here, equip it to Zanji. Hopefully I can draw out of... so because I activate Reckless Greed, it's a -1. But since I'm able to resolve the Spirit of the 6 Samurai on a Unifrog, it actually turns into a +1 because of the Spirit of the 6. Because I take away a card and I gain a card. So relatively speaking, Reckless Greed turned into a +1. So yeah, even though I skipped 2 draw phases, that doesn't really apply to me. So now I have 6 cards to his 4, going to 5. So I draw into 6 Samurai United, which is going to allow me to draw even more cards, which is really good for me. So he draws into Malicious Edge, so he can actually summon that, but he doesn't know that I play Honest. So if he does declare an attack with Edge onto my Zanji, I do have the Honest to back that up. So he's going to go for the Edge play here. He's going to attack. I'm going to go Damage Calc and activate the Honest here. And this is even better because Honest with the Spirit of the 6 generates me yet another +2. So I waste the Honest here, and he wastes his... So the Honest trades with this, but this generates me a +1. So it turns out to be a free +1 here. So even though the Reckless Greed is making me lose my my battle or my draw phase, I'm still able to draw cards on my opponent's turn. So now he activates the Miracle Fusion here because he has no other play. And lucky for me, I do have the Hand of the 6 Samurai to deal with the Absolute Zero, so I'm not too afraid of it. And he just scoops without actually trying to play the game out. So this board, so I'm already having a really good start to the Frog Hero match. So Now I think I side into DeFi in the event that I want to make sure that his frogs go to the banished area. I draw to pulling the rug. It looks like I'm back on pulling the rug for the main deck, especially for 6 Samurais, because you can't really play Massacre Restrict because you can't tribute using Hand of the Six. Hand of the Six is really important in the mirror match to deal with, not in the mirror match, but into the frog match, because you want to deal with the Substitute. The dupe block is really annoying, so if you have Restrict out, you can't actually deal with you cannot actually deal with the dupe block. So that's why I don't side the Restrict in this deck. So he sets a Treeborn Frog here, which is really good for me. That if I do draw in a DeFi and I attack over the Treeborn Frog with the DeFi out, then he's kind of forced to lose the frog in the process. I activate the Gateway here, summon the Yaichi, special summon the Grandmaster, and so now he has to kind of respond to the summon. So he's going to activate the Bottomless and the Grandmaster. Unfortunately for me, I don't have a way to recycle off the Grandmaster. So, but the thing about the Bottomless here is that my Gateway is able to search. So I can just search for another Grandmaster and then special summon him and get another 2 counters here. So the 2 counter goes here, and then I'm going to declare an attack with the Grandmaster first in the event that it's a... this is still the correct attack order, by attacking with the Grandmaster first and then attacking directly with the Yaichi, because in the event that he has a Gores, then the Gores can only clear... The Gores can clear both of them, but the Yaichi will trade with a token is what I'm saying. And then this... in the event this is a Dupe Frog, then I clear the Dupe Frog, and he does have a Treeborn Frog in grave, so I don't have to worry about his Kaias being summoned. So I attack directly for 13 here. I don't know if I set the pulling the rug or the bottomless. I think I set the bottomless if I had to guess. No, I set the pulling the rug. So now if he does have the Kaias in hand and he summons the Treeborn, I can just pulling the rug the Kaias. But he has a Substitute. But again, like I have to stress that Substitute dupe block is really bad against 6 Samurai because I do have the Hand of the Six to deal with the Dupe Frog line. So his best play here is to go into Unifrog and attack me directly and destroying my Gateway or destroying my set card. But I think he chooses not to do that. He goes straight into the Dupe Frog. So I'm not entirely sure if he sides out Unifrog against me, but I definitely would keep that in, especially since I play Phoenix Chain in this deck. Now he goes into the double dupe, which is a pretty okay end. However, he doesn't set any back row, and this is another reason why Yaichi is really good, is because these cards aren't chainable, and because they're not chainable, it wards my opponent off from setting them, because I'll get a +1 off the Yaichi. So this was a really good Yaichi setup. So now I draw into the Reckless Greed, and so the Reckless Greed is actually useful for this particular setup, because now I have the Gateway online. I'm able to get a search every turn. So where Reckless Greed, if I draw into another Samurai monster, then I'm generating a +1, so it makes it so that Reckless Greed is a neutral, but I'm seeing 2 extra cards earlier. So because I get rid of the waiting time for seeing my trap cards, it makes it so that Reckless Greed actually has more utility than it actually looks like. So here I'm going to use the effect of the Hand of the 6 Samurai to pop the dupe block. He's going to search for his Swap Frog, and because now the Grandmaster is off the field now, I can search for the 3rd Grandmaster, and Grandmaster does have the clause where you can only have 1 Grandmaster to 6. So now that he's off the board, I can special summon the Grandmaster, I can put the 2 counters on the board, and now I can attack the Dupe Frog without actually using the effect. And if he does draw into the Gores here, the Hand of the 6 is not once per turn, so I can deal with the Gores token or the Gores monster. So he's going to search for the Swap Frog again. So all these cards are really not doing much. But even though I'm destroying this, I'm trading a monster for a Dupe Frog effect. The fact that he has no board pressure makes it so that the Gateway is actually going to generate me so much advantage over the turns. So I attack directly for both. He's going to take 2,900 damage. I'm going to set another trap card. So now it's 7 cards to his... my 7 to his 8. So, but he has no board pressure, so I don't have to worry. He draws into the Miracle Fusion here with no heroes in graveyard. He does have the Prodigy, so he could summon the Prodigy and activate the Miracle, but he has to waste his normal summon to do so. So he does that play here. He sets the Prodigy, activates the Miracle. I let it resolve. He goes into Absolute Zero here. The Absolute Zero is going to be at 3,500 attack because my Aichi powers his own Absolute Zero. So what do I do here? So the Absolute Zero is going to attack over my Grandmaster. I do have these 2 cards set, but they don't do anything to the absolute 0. So I let the Grandmaster die here, and he goes to the graveyard. So now this is a justified Reckless Greed here if I do flip it. But what I do, I think I go into I distribute the hand to destroy the absolute 0 without doing anything. Nope, I activate this. So now I activate the hand here to destroy the absolute 0. The absolute 0 is going to destroy my Yaichi. I'm going to summon the Yaichi here, search for the Grandmaster. So now the Reckless Greed is now a neutral. I add the Grandmaster here, special summon the Grandmaster, get 2 more counters, and then my second Reckless Greed is going to be able to draw another card. So now I attack with Yaichi first. This was probably an incorrect line, attacking with the Yaichi first. Yeah, so because he can theoretically still have Gores. But thankfully for me, his 2 trap cards are not giving him any value. So I'm attacking for 21 here. Yeah, that was a pretty dangerous swing here. Probably shouldn't have attacked directly with Grandmaster here, but thankfully for me, he doesn't have the Gores. Now that I have the Solemn Judgment in my hand, I'm going to set everything. So with my second Reckless Greed, the Reckless Greed is actually going to be a +1. If I draw into another Samurai, it's going to be a +2. So that's how I see it. Because I'm still skipping the same amount of draw phases. Okay, so now he sets all his back row. He's trying to pretty much play now I have to play pretty much the guessing game, where I pretty much had to snipe all his back row, and so hopefully one of the cards I hit isn't a chainable. I rolled the dice here, and I hit the bottomless trap hole, so I was able to get a +1 off the Yaichi, and then I summoned the Zanji here to get another 2 counters. He's gonna activate the Torrential Tribute. The Torrential Tribute is really good for me because the Grandmaster again floats, but I could use Solemn Judgment to negate the Torrential Tribute, and I think that's what I do. No, it looks like I just add the Grandmaster back to my hand. So now I'm going to use the Gateway effect here to search. If this card is like a Regeki break, I think I was going to Solemn Judgment that because I want to be able to get my Samurai Search as I skip my next 2 draw phase, and these 2 monsters don't do anything. So I added the Spirit of the Six here, and I think I set the MST here in the event that he draws another chainable. Okay, he summons the Swap Frog here. He's going to attack for 1,000. So yeah, even though the Frog player is at 4 or 5 cards with the Treeborn Frog, I'm up so many card advantage because of the Reckless Greed. I'm going to activate the MST in the end phase in case that's a chainable, and then I skip my last draw phase, and then I'm going to get a +1 off the search off the Gateway. So I'm going to get another +1 here. I'm going to add the hand of the 6 here, which is a good top. I'm going to attack for 26 here. He's going to activate the D-Prison, and I don't know the ruling if he does have a Battle Fader in hand, but I know that a lot of people are on 10FD's list, so I think I go for the Solemn Judgment here so that he doesn't Battle Fader. I mean, I know he doesn't. He probably doesn't play Battle Fader, and then he takes the loss here. So yeah, that was the gameplay against Frog Heroes. I usually have a 50-50 win rate against this deck because they can theoretically draw all their power cards. In this game, he didn't draw a single Caius, which is understandable. But sometimes there's only 3 Caius in the deck, and the deck only thins out the deck, doesn't really draw. And there's really no draw power in this deck, so you kind of have to rely on the turn-by-turn stall in order to draw into your power cards. Whereas in this deck, the Reckless Greed pretty much makes it so that I can see most of my cards in my deck. So that's really good for that. But yeah, that's all the gameplay videos I'm willing to do for commentary. Again, I stress that we should definitely try to play this deck in 2024 because I think it's a really good deck. I am a semi-competitive player, so take my word with a grain of salt. I only play decks that aren't necessarily known as the best because I want to have the element of surprise. But for those of you guys who really think that Six Samurai has a shot into the next meta, I definitely would recommend playing this particular archetype because it's a really good archetype. It plays 3 gateways, and Reckless Greed just makes the deck so much more better. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I know that was a long one, but I always try to make it so that it's more educational as opposed to entertaining for you guys who want to take Samurais to the next level. All right, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.